A very good Sunday afternoon, my people. And it really is gorgeous out. So after our teaching, and let's all go out and take a long walk together. So let's start with our part 1, breathing exercise. This breathing exercise is based on Taoist longevity, part of their Taoist longevity practice. Put your legs shoulder width. Bend naturally. Your hands up. And you're hugging a tree. We'll breathe in with our nose, out from our mouth as deep as we can. We'll do 10 times together. Now we'll start our 10 energy movements. We'll do 5 each movement. The first movement, we're strengthening our triple burner. That is our fascia system, our lymph system, and also we're setting up a very healthy boundary and energy field for ourselves. The next movement, opening up 6 arm breathing lines, strengthen the lungs and colon. And this movement also strengthens your leg muscles. Make sure you go as slow as you can. This movement, one hand reaching the sky, the other earth. We're balancing the whole gut system. Make sure we surrender. This movement balance our 7 basic emotions. Five elements. Also help with neck tightness, upper shoulder tightness, and turn your head. Make sure that your butt is good to balance heart, small intestines. If people have too much gas or bulging, and this will help as well. Now we're strengthening again our fascia system, our tendon as a part of the liver and kidney and heart. If people have back tightness, this will be good. our liver system. Pop, 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 now this one, mostly kidney system, and also bring together the heart and kidneys. If people have pelvic floor inflammation, prostate, uterus, ovarian inflammation, and bladder inflammation, this is a good movement. So this is to open up the 6 leg meridian lines, then meridian line, that is your nourish line, dual meridian line, that's your governing line, 6 arm meridian lines as well, and connect the spine, the heart, and kidney system. So the next 2 movements focus on this. Now your forehead, 4, now you should feel everything is stretched out. You feel your blood runs through your body very smoothly, and your body fluid and your energy. Now we hold for 10 seconds. water. So today I just thought, let's try to, I don't know if we can complete the basic diagnostic skill sets or the methods that we use. Previously, we mentioned that one is the first part of the diagnostic method is called observation. So when a seeker or a patient come into the room, then what am I looking for, right? I look at from your hair, the quality of your hair, the quality of your skin, your eyes, what's in the eyes, the color of your eyes. Is your eyes red? Is your eyelid puffy? And are you twitching? And what is it your eyes clear? Is it too much tear? Is it too dry? And then your nose, right? So what is it? The color of your nose, and then your cheekbones, and then the whole, and then your lips. That's very important, and your tongue, and your ears, and then the whole head, right? Because each part of this that tell me, let's say, when people have agony. So if they have agony here, then we know it's related to your spleen, your stomach and spleen system that show up here. And if you have agony here, then we know that's related to your hormones, right? And if people have hormone deficiency, or this, if you have agony, a lot of times that related to menstrual cycle disturbance and too much or too little or irregular, or sometimes the thyroid deficiency. And how about here? Here is your stomach heat. If people have too much stomach fire, and then sometimes they will have agony here. And sometimes they have on both sides of here and here. And that is related to the division between the heart and kidney system. So just give you a very simple idea, say, oh, if I look at your acne, and sometimes people have, you know, the front part, they have a back, and sometimes they have in their body. So that just all shows the imbalance in your system. So then we know, right, then when we give a treatment plan, that will be more targeted. And from the face, oh, and then the other thing is that could be the whole class, that one in Taoist tradition, and also in Buddhism, this is a little bit beyond just regular traditional Chinese medicine. And they look at your face, they know everything, right? And they know before, current, and the future is unknown. What we call that 面相, right? You can get a reading just by looking at nothing else, just look at your face. So yeah, but that is a completely different topic for another day. So after that, then you look at your hands. It's important, right? Because we have more than 200 different type of eyes, right? The patterns of eyes, more than, if you look at people's tongue, there's over 100 different type of tongue, each tongue that give us, we know a little bit about your health, right? And then we look at the color of your skin. Is that smooth? Is that too dry? Is that too oily? And then we begin to look at your hands that you record all of their histories there. Again, that we call that 手相. That's a completely different topic for another day. And then you look at the color, right? Some people have pale color. What does that mean? Some people have reddish color. What does that mean? Some people have golden color. What does that mean? And then you look at the fingers, right? Because from one finger, you know the bone health, you know the heart health, you know the liver health, and you know everything, right? You know, that just gives you more and more information. And then from there, that the first is that observation, right? And then now, well, I shared a story last time that Bian Qu is one of the ancient healers and medical doctors, and he looked at this guy, you know, this king, and he said, well, you gotta get yourself treated because you have now the illness is still in your skin level. This guy said, hey, 寡人无疾, I'm not sick. Right? And after 5 days, it's getting deeper. I'm not sick. And then eventually he dies. So, but this is really a interesting point, that how many times when someone, right, is trying to be, we call 真友, is a friend that tell you the truth, right? We will say, 寡人无疾, I'm not sick, right? It's not me. So instead of trying to look within to say, oh wow, you know, I gotta really meditate on that. I gotta really make changes. I gotta really change. So we in monastery, that one, my mentor, when I did something that, because we make errors and unwise moves every day. So then when we refuse to acknowledge that, and he will look at me, he will say, 寡人无疾, I'm not sick. Then I know there's something that need to be corrected. So I want you to just kind of have this image in your head, and when you are being reminded or someone kindly and tell you something that, hey, you gotta make it easier on this, you gotta change your diet, you gotta do this because it's still in this level and you have imbalances here and there. And then what do you say? You look within and see what I can change. Or you can just simply say, 寡人无疾, I'm not sick. So, but the second part of the diagnostic methods is one has two parts. One is I will listen to you. I will hear what you have to say because I already look at your body. Now I look at you and what you have to tell me. And one is I will smell. So what is it, the smell, a sense of smell that you carry, right? So, so this also is very important because a lot of times there is a huge discrepancy between what you know about your body and what your body is actually telling, right? So when you come to the clinic, that I actually finish the whole sets, and then I will let you to tell me your set of story and to see how much do you know your own health, and also what is it that I have missed, then what is bothering you and troubling you. So again, that as a diagnostician or a diagnostic healing monk, why do we go through all these years of training? Because but it cannot be rushed, and you store tens of thousands of different kind of scent in your nose, right? And that just can't be rushed. And if people, let's say, if people have diabetes, then they come in, and inevitably you will have a sense of this that sweet is there's variety of different type of sweetness that reflect your health, right? And if someone come in and if they have kidney disease, then they have this rotten, fermented, rotten smell. And if they have this bitter, it's like something smells really bitter, then you know something wrong with their heart, right? And if you have something is congealed with blood, right? You feel there's this. It's. Think about if you have that heavy menstrual blood and you leave it be for several days, and then that becomes really thick and congealed, and then that carries a sense of smell, and that is the early stage of uterine cancer. So with all these things, that minute people walk in, right, and you have that sense of smell. What is it? And now that part actually is being negatively impacted because we brew herbs, right, to get rid of the COVID. And so I can't give you 100% of the performance of what I can smell because I smell herbs and I have to cover my mouth. But anyways, so that is so important. And then the other is really, it's listening. Listening is not just your story, right? But rather the voice, the sound you make. Right? If you cough, then what is it that cough is telling me? And that how is it your lung is doing? And if some people come in, they cannot stop yarning. Oh, they yarn all the time. So then there's different type of yarning. Is it the yarning is from your stomach? It's the yarning is from your sleep. It's the yarning is from your liver. And sometimes people burp. This burp. Oh, and it's what is it that again, it could be from different organ systems. Is that how serious that is? And is that something that is just stagnant gas, or is that something else? So through this listening, and because your voice can tell me just precisely just that. If people come in, they have high blood pressure, their voice is telling you that, oh yeah, you have blood pressure deficiency. If people have high cholesterol or anything that through their voice that shows, right? So now this is the second part. This is one that again is almost impossible to explain, but that takes years of training. Years of training. You just basically think about the computer, right? You gotta store that data in you. You have to smell enough to know, oh, okay, so I have this, and that's where is that memory, and okay, so that's what is this, and the voice, and then the cough, right, and all these things that is easy to say, oh yeah, this is just listening and smelling, but this really takes very long years to train. And then the next thing we do is asking, right? One is that I ask, how's your sleep, right? And how's your pooping, because that is so important. We cannot just not mention the pooping, because that is so important. How's your urine, and how's your sweat, and how is this? So then after you listening, you smell and you do your observation, then you can ask, right? You ask them, so what is it? So, and then the next thing is TID. TID is that you often see me doing this. So I am using a simplified version version, because before there are three parts, right? There's 10D, and there's heaven, there's nature, and there's earth, then is the people, right? And then when you look at their spiritual part, and you look at their psyche, and you look at their health, and you look at, am I able to treat this, right? So before that, the old method is we test here, here, and on the top of your foot. But now the simplified version is just here. But here, again, you are looking at different meridian lines, you are looking at different organ systems, you are looking at the possible stagnation and inflammation, just the whole thing, right? By testing that, are you counting my pulse? Partially, but mostly I am getting more detailed information about what's going on inside. Think about just that moment, your body gives me just a shot of clarity. And then through that I can see, right? And so that's called TID. And then the last part, what do we do in our clinic, that I test you, I put you on the table, right? And I go, okay, so let's use needles. Sometimes I use cups, right? And sometimes I use needles, sometimes I use seeds, just to wrapping everything up. Because I already did my observation, I already did my listening, I already did my smelling, I already asked you to hear your part of the story, and now is the final confirmation, and see what is it that we need to see we haven't seen. So through this, that it's different layers of seeing the whole body holistically, right? And so after that, we pretty much know how are you doing physically, how's your toxins level, how's your stagnation level, how's your inflammation level, and we know how's your gut is doing, we know how's your immune system holding up. So, and then after that, and you told me how's your diet and how's your stress level and are you overindulging and all these other details. And then with all this information, then that will lead to the next thing is that we'll put together a treatment plan for you. So as you can see, that one thing I really, really like or appreciate about traditional Chinese medicine is that if you really know how to get the information, you can pretty much get everything that you need. So in a very, it doesn't really take long, but what takes is for this diagnostician to be very clear, right? Because I have to do a lot of preparation before I come into clinic, right? Make sure that I let the energy, because partially, mostly actually, it's not, we say that it's not my energy only, right? It's not just my skill set, because I am really just very limited. Insignificant, but what the knowledge gushing through, and the spirit, the energy gushing through, and you have to make sure the channels are open, so you are able to channel it. You are able to have a very comprehensive picture about that person's health. So it's not just I walk in the room and out of the room, but rather that detailed preparation is not just a day or a week. It's just very, very young boy. Every day you do the routine. Every day you make sure everything is smooth, so you can be the channel. Plus all those skill set and all those knowledge, all those traditions they install within me. So that make a diagnostician. So, and the procedure persons, and that they will carry out my design, but a diagnostician will really need all the above to be able to make a proper diagnosis. So to share this with you, now I'm hoping a lot of you already will begin to have the same language, right? When you come in, and even that, the other day I was walking in the ARB, and these two ladies were walking together, and one said to another, "I bet that is stagnation." So I thought it was very funny. So I thought, oh yeah, that's my people. So just to really, and eventually I think that if you just hear that enough, and then gradually I will teach you what to look for. And then I do believe that you can, in a way, just to begin to understand your own health, begin to understand your own body, and then that will help it provide service to oneself and also provide service to others as well. So I will stop here today, and I want to show you a little trick yet. Now as we begin to move into the fall season, so I want you to really focus a little bit on your triple burner, right? So one of the simple trick to open up the energy, the right energy of the triple burner, it actually is very simple. If people have, let's say, if they have edema, or they feel heavy, so there's this set of exercise I'm developing, or they feel they have blood deficiency, right? And there's certain proteins in their body doesn't work, or they have adult leukemia, and so that to clean up that stagnation in the blood system, or sometimes people just suddenly have a big lymph node pop up here and there. So, or they really store too much dampness. So the first step really is to open up, we call yang shi. There's a point called yang shi, is really the energy, the energy storage. The yang is different than yin, right? Because we're moving to yin territory. So then we need to really balance the yang energy. When people feel tired, or they feel they're too wet, so then we dry them off a little bit. So what you do is very simple. So this first step, there are several steps. So today I'll teach you the first step. So find this finger, right? And then move this down and bend this. When you bend, you will see that there's this little, just right here, right? So cross this line, fourth finger, right here. This is yang shi. So this is one of the triple burners points. And I want you to massage it. Just massage it like this. Very gently massage it. I want you to massage it clockwise, right? So I want you to do that in your office when you are doing whatever the call with people, or whatever you have a chance. And then if you have, let's say, sometimes people feel they have arthritis in their hands, or they have cold fingers, or they have tingling, and use this. So on both sides. So 2 or 3 minutes on each side, or you can do 100 times. And then after that, always, you have a pair of walnuts in your pocket, right? And then you just play with it. you can do it like this, or you can do that with one hand. And again, this finger. And this, right there on both sides 100 times. And after that, relax the meridian lines. Okay, so I will leave room for questions.
Dr. Liu, with our bodies communicating so much to you with all of the ways that you reviewed, how much of that information is past medical history, current, and sort of the potential for future concerns given maybe family medical history and those things?
So always remember that moment, right? That moment, the present moment, that always have a very strong strain of the history, because we move from second to second and we are making our history. So there is this very strong, there's no past in traditional Chinese medicine. There's this long string of you, if that makes sense, right? And you look at all of it, and you look at what is it happens. Sometimes I say, well, remember what happened to you 13 years ago? That lead didn't get treated properly. That slowly gets you to this level. And if you continue on, then you can pretty much see what is going to happen. So by looking at that moment, we are looking at the whole history, and we are predicting the future as well, because none of us we don't just exist. We exist through this rhythm of energy, and we change all the time. So what happened to the past, that matters. Does it make sense? And what happened today, that matters moving forward. So that leads to another very interesting question, is like, some of you ask me, oh, you're interested in doing a past life. To look beyond that veil, to look beyond that, you know how much that will take for you to clear up all the energy. So all these, your advisor, your lungs, your mind that holds your heart, the heart holds your mind, all this has to temporarily support that liver, because the liver holds different reincarnation of your being, and you can look back. How can you do that? I mean, you know how many years of training that will need for someone who's a qualified healer to lead you back. So, but I guess most of you just want to know a story, right? So, but that's why I said it won't work, because you have to really clean up the liver system and know how to temporarily all these other systems stop and support this for you to go way back then. Well, that's simple. But I hope that answered your question.
That does, Dr. Liu, thank you. We are actually, unfortunately, out of time, but I just wanted to thank you so much for allowing all of us this really wonderful opportunity to learn so much from you every week. I don't know how we got so lucky to have you in our backyards, but thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Liu. We appreciate you so much.
And
Thank you,
Dr. Liu.
Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Thank you, Dr. Liu. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Dr. Lou. Love being one of your people.
Me too.
Thank you, Dr. Lou.
Thank you, Dr. Lou. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Dr. Lou and Sarah.
Thank you.